If you've ever felt time stretch in a space too small to escape the truth, subscribe and stay. These are the stories where closeness isn't chosen at first. It's endured, then understood. The elevator stops between floors with a sound that doesn't belong. Not the soft ding of arrival. Not the mechanical hum of smooth movement. It's a jolt. A sharp shudder. A sudden stillness. The lights flicker once, twice. Then settle into a dim emergency glow. She exhales sharply. He looks up at the same time. They don't speak right away. The silence isn't awkward yet. It's assessing. The kind that asks, is this temporary? Before deciding how to behave. She presses the button panel. Nothing. Of course, she mutters. He shifts slightly, steadying himself as the elevator rocks once more, and then stops completely. Looks like we're stuck, he says. Her head tilts toward him, expression tight but composed. How long? He shrugs. Depends how dramatic the building wants to be. That earns a faint, reluctant smile. Theo. And the single dad from operations. Alone. In a stalled elevator between the 22nd and 23rd floors. She presses the call button again, holding it this time. A crackle. Static. Then silence. No signal, she says. He checks his phone. Same. The air feels warmer already. Or maybe that's just awareness sharpening in a confined space. She leans back against the mirrored wall, crossing her arms, not defensive, just grounding herself. Sorry, she says suddenly. About this. He looks at her surprised. You didn't plan the elevator. She exhales through her nose. I meant, for holding you after hours. It's fine, he replies. I was finishing up anyway. They fall quiet again. The emergency lights cast a soft amber hue over everything, changing the mood of the space. Shadows soften. Lines blur. He notices things he normally wouldn't. The faint tension in her jaw. The way she shifts her weight subtly like she's managing more than inconvenience. She notices him too. The way he doesn't pace. Doesn't fill the silence with noise. Doesn't look at her like she's responsible for fixing this. How are you with enclosed spaces? He asks gently. She blinks, caught off guard. I'm fine. He studies her for a moment. That wasn't an answer. She huffs a quiet laugh. You're perceptive. Occupational hazard, he says. She uncrosses her arms, then crosses them again differently, less tight. I don't love them, she admits. But I can manage. He nods. If it gets worse, say something. She looks at him, really looks at him now. Most people don't notice, she says. I do, he replies simply. That lands. Minutes pass. Or maybe longer. Time does strange things when there's nowhere to go. The elevator creaks faintly, reminding them it exists. She shifts again, heels clicking softly against the floor. You can sit, he offers, gesturing to the floor. If you want. Might be a while. She hesitates. Pride flickers across her face. Then practicality wins. She slides down the wall, smoothing her skirt beneath her, back resting against the cool metal. Thank you, she says. He waits a beat, then lowers himself opposite her, one knee bent, back against the other wall. The proximity changes everything. Not touching, but close enough to feel presence. I've never been stuck in an elevator with an employee before, she says lightly. He smiles faintly. I've never been stuck in one with the CEO. She glances up at him. Is this awkward for you? He considers that honestly. Not really. Why not? Because, he says, right now you're just a person who doesn't like enclosed spaces. Her gaze lingers on him longer this time. That's considerate, she says. No, he replies. It's accurate. The air feels thicker now. Not heavy intent. She draws her knees closer, arms resting loosely on them. Do you ever feel like you're always supposed to know what to do? She asks suddenly. Yes, he says without hesitation. That surprises her. She studies his face. You didn't even think about it. Because I've lived there, he says. That pressure. She nods slowly. People assume leadership means certainty. And it usually just means responsibility, he adds. Their eyes meet. The space hums with something unspoken. The elevator shifts slightly, just enough to make her inhale sharply. He moves before thinking, sliding a few inches closer. Hey, he says quietly. You're okay. She laughs softly, embarrassed. I told you. I can manage. I know, he replies. I'm not questioning that. He offers his hand, not urgent, not dramatic. Just there. If it helps, he adds. She stares at it, then at him. Then she places her hand in his. The contact is immediate. Grounding. Warm. Her fingers curl slightly around his palm. I didn't expect that, she murmurs. Neither did I, he admits. They don't let go. They sit like that, hands linked, knees almost touching, breath slowly sinking. The emergency lights flicker again, bathing them in shadow and gold. This is probably inappropriate, she says quietly. He meets her gaze steadily. Then we should define what this is. She swallows. And what is it? Two people stuck in an elevator, he says, choosing not to panic. Her lips curve into a small smile. I like that definition, she says. Time stretches. Her grip tightens slightly. Not out of fear now, but something else. Awareness. She shifts closer without comment, shoulder brushing his arm. Neither of them moves away. If the door's open right now, she says softly, this goes back to normal. Yes, he agrees. But it won't feel normal, she continues. No, he says. She tilts her head, studying him in the low light. You're very calm, she says. So are you, he replies. She laughs quietly. I'm really not. Then you're hiding it well. She exhales. I'm tired of hiding. That admission hangs between them, intimate and fragile. He doesn't respond immediately. When he does, his voice is lower. You don't have to hear, he says. The elevator remains still. The world above them keeps moving. But inside this small, suspended space, something has shifted. Something neither of them pressed a button to start. And neither of them reaches for the alarm. Not yet. The elevator remains still. No diodes. No alarms. Just the faint hum of emergency power, and the quiet rhythm of two people breathing in the same small space. Her thumb brushes lightly against his palm. It's an unconscious movement, barely there. But it sends a clear signal through him. Not urgency. Not fear. Awareness. We should probably call someone, she says softly, even as her hand stays in his. Yes, he agrees. Neither of them moves. The emergency phone glows faintly on the panel, waiting. Patient. Neutral. She notices his gaze flick toward it, then back to her face. You're not reaching for it, she observes. Neither are you, he replies. A pause. That's unlike me, she admits. Why? He asks. She considers that, eyes lowering briefly before lifting to meet his again. Because I don't usually allow things to happen without controlling them, she says. Especially not with witnesses. There aren't any, he says gently. She looks around the small enclosed space, the mirrored walls reflecting them back in fragments, two people suspended between floors, outside the usual order of things. No, she agrees. There aren't. The elevator creaks softly, as if acknowledging the moment. Her shoulders relax a fraction. I hate how much responsibility follows me everywhere, she continues quietly. Even here. Even now. He shifts closer, not touching more than before, but enough that his presence feels intentional. Then let this be the place where you don't carry it, he says. Her breath catches, not sharply but deeply. You're very good at saying things that make me stop, she murmurs. I'm not trying to stop you, he replies. I'm trying to stand with you. That does it. She leans her head back against the wall, eyes closing for a moment. When she opens them again, something has softened. Something has been set down. Okay, she says quietly. Then we don't press it. Not yet. All right, he agrees. They sit like that, the decision made without ceremony. Minutes pass. The heat in the elevator builds slightly. Not uncomfortable, just noticeable. The air feels charged now, less with electricity than with shared restraint. She shifts again, turning her body more fully toward him. I should tell you something, she says. He nods. You don't have to. I want to, she replies. She takes a breath. I don't like being touched unexpectedly, she says. Crowds. Hands. even well-meaning ones. He listens without interrupting. But this, she continues, glancing down at their joined hands, this feels different. Why? He asks quietly. Because you asked without words, she says. You offered and you waited. Her fingers tighten slightly around his. That matters to me. It matters to me too, he says. She studies his face in the low amber light, as if memorizing it. This version of him unguarded and steady. You don't look at me like I'm fragile, she says. You're not, he replies. And you don't look at me like I'm untouchable. No, he says again. Her lips part. That's rare. The elevator shifts again. Just a faint vibration this time. Like a reminder that the world hasn't stopped completely. She inhales, reflexively tightening her grip. He responds without thinking, thumb brushing reassuringly across her knuckles. I've got you, he says softly. The words are simple. They land like an anchor. Her eyes meet his, something intense and unmistakable passing between them. You don't even realize what you just said, she murmurs. He doesn't look away. Idol. Silence settles again, but this one is different. Fuller. She inches closer until her knee presses lightly against his. He adjusts without comment, their bodies align now, not touching more than necessary, but close enough to feel warmth. If the door's open, she says quietly, I don't want this to disappear. It won't, he answers. Not unless you want it to. I don't, she admits. That's all it takes. When the elevator finally shutters back to life, it almost feels intrusive. The lights brighten. The hum deepens. The sense of suspension breaks. She notices first. It's moving, she says. Yes, he replies. Neither of them lets go right away. The elevator crawls downward, painfully slow. Floor numbers tip past. She straightens gradually, composure returning. Not snapping back into place, but settling differently now. More honest. Less armored. When the doors finally slide open onto the lobby, they don't rush out. They stand, hands still linked, the wide open space beyond them suddenly feeling too exposed. She releases his hand first, but only after squeezing it once deliberately. Thank you, she says. For what? He asks. For staying, she replies. And for not making that something it wasn't. He nods. And thank you for trusting me. They step out into the lobby together. The world resumes around them, security desks, late-night staff, the quiet echo of footsteps on marble. Nothing looks different. Everything feels changed. Outside the building, night air cools her flushed skin. She pauses near the entrance, looking up at the city lights. Do you have somewhere to be? She asks. No, he says. She hesitates, then decides. Walk with me, she says. Just a block. They walk side by side, close enough that their arms brush occasionally. No need to talk yet. At the corner, she stops. I don't want to pretend that was just an inconvenience, she says. I wouldn't insult it like that, he replies. She smiles faintly. Good, she says. Because I don't want to pretend with you. He studies her face, searching for hesitation. He finds resolve instead. This doesn't have to be rushed, he says. Or hidden. I don't hide what matters, she replies. She steps closer, close enough now that the city noise fades into background static. Her hand rises, resting lightly against his chest. Not claiming, not asking. Just acknowledging. This, she says softly, started by accident. Most honest things do, he replies. Their kiss is gentle and brief. More promise than fire, more certainty than heat. When they part, she exhales slowly. I'm glad the elevator broke, she says. He smiles. So am I. They don't make plans that night. They don't need to. As they go their separate ways, both of them carry the same quiet understanding. Some connections don't need grand gestures. They only need a small enclosed space. And two people willing not to press the alarm.